Hey everybody, this is Randy Brown for Cammyman 2021 and the Mayor of Magic. Doing a little stream, having a little live stream coming at you, yeah. And here, let me button up that top button. So, Mercenary Man 22 wanted me to do a stream, so here we go. We got a weekend stream. Today I'm going to be covering the top 10 killer dialogue tips. It's just 10 dialogue tips that you can use to write better dialogue in your stories, in your movies, in your clips, in your YouTube. So, without any further introduction, let's jump into it. What up, Dank Mean Time Machine? What up, man? What's up, Randy? I threw a link in the Discord. Oh, thanks, Mercenary Man. I did this for you because you said you wanted a weekend stream, so here we go. So the first technique to write creative, realistic dialogue is to use interruptions. In life, people don't usually get out everything that they're going to say when they're going to say it. You know, they have interruptions from other people. And not only do they have interruptions from other people, they also have interruptions from other things, like maybe there's an explosion nearby, maybe a car crashes or something, or maybe the dog spills the Coke on the ground, so whatever it is, utilize interruptions, and that will not only make your dialogue more realistic, it'll make it seem more real. And Adam Pachidi is here. What up, Adam? So the second technique to create realistic dialogue is called the 3-sentence rule. And this is a rule that I use all the frickin' time in my stories is, characters should never speak more than 3 sentences at one time. Because if you go too long, you're going to get into a big, long speech, and you don't want large chunks of dialogue taking up all the space on your screen. You want plenty of white space. So, and then technique number 3 is to break rule number 2. Yeah, you do want to keep it short and to the point most of the time, but there are times when a speech would be sufficient, because a lot of really good movies have dramatically long speeches with characters. How should characters communicate natural with animals like pets? I don't know, Adam. What about good exposition dump? Those normally go over 3. Dank Mean Time Machine, I will get to that, I promise. Walter White says, what's up, Randy? Little says, you ever see the show Mindhunter? Yeah, I watched the first season of Mindhunter. Pretty good show. There's a lot of realistic dialogue in that show. So, number 2, use the 3-sentence rule. Keep dialogue 3 sentences or shorter. But rule number 3 is to break that rule every so often. You don't want to go crazy, though. You don't want to do giant info dumps. You don't want to have a character who speaks for 5 pages in a row. Keep those speeches to a minimum. Like, what I would say is you want to have at least 3 good speeches in each script, depending on whether it's like a 22 to 90 page long script, you'll have more or less. But yeah, so number 4, don't use cliches. All right. And this goes for not only for dialogue, but this also goes over for description too. What is a cliche? A cliche is something we heard before. It's something that you use over and over and over and over again, and it's tired from overuse. Like if you're thinking about starting a novel, and you want to start your novel, it was a dark and stormy night. Or if you want to start your time novel, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Please do not do that, because that is cliche. Readers don't like cliche. They don't want to see that same damn thing over and over again. Like my friend Benny Ross used to constantly quote Star Wars in his stories. Like, he would lift dialogue directly from it. Like, I have a bad feeling about this. And I'm like, Benny, unless you're George Lucas and unless you have the rights to Star Wars, I would not directly lift any lines from Star Wars or whatever movie you're thinking of. Now, I do remember the dad. So next one, if you're going to use cliches, here's what I would suggest. This is what I call turning a cliche on its head, which is if you really, really want to use a line from a famous movie, take that line and just alter it a little bit. Just turn it on its head. Just, take it and flip it around. Like, for example, the Terminator series was a good example of this, although parts 3 through 6 weren't what I would call good movies. But in Terminator 1, Arnold Schwarzenegger's line was, "I'll be back." And then in part 2, it was, "I'm back." And then in part 3, it was, "She'll be back." And then in part 6, it was, "He won't be back," or "I won't be back." So if you absolutely must use a cliche, take it and alter it just enough so where it isn't the exact same phrase that you were lifting it from. Do you like goofy, self-aware movies like Scary Movie 1 and 2? They're good comfort movies. Yeah, little. I love Scary Movies 1 and 2. I love self-aware movies. Like the Deadpool movies, those movies were right up my alley. They were right up my alley. And Scream, all those movies, they were pretty good. I only saw Screams 1 through 3. It wasn't because I didn't want to see 4 or 5. It's just I never had the chance or the opportunity. And I'm just going to wait until I can see those movies for free on like Amazon.com or HBO Max or something like that. But yeah, I always love self-aware movies, and there are some movies where the character like looks directly in camera and goes, "I told you." One of those movies was Citizen Kane, and I think that was the first instance of someone looking directly into the camera and then going like, I think there was an old accountant at a desk, and he told Citizen Kane something that he already knew, and he looks into the camera and he's like, like that. So, and I do like goofy self-aware movies too, like Naked Gun. That's a good series. Police Academy, those are good movies. So there you go. So number 5 is if you're going to have the cliche, flip the cliche, turn it on its head. Number 6 is called bait and switch. What's up, the Ghost of D's nuts? Ice Cube would look into the camera in the Friday movies. Yeah. Ice Cube is a hell of a good rapper. He does quality work. I listen to his Good Cop, Bad Cop song all the freaking time. So number 6 is bait and switch. Basically, I only have a few examples on this, but what the bait and switch is where you take a well-known phrase and at the end you change it. Like one of the most famous bait and switches is from the movie Full Metal Jacket, directed by Stanley Kubrick. And there's a part in there, and the original line, I don't know where the original line's from, but it was, I like to travel to new exotic places, meet new and interesting people, and then eat with them. But Full Metal Jacket took this line and they changed the very ending of it. They go, "Yeah, I like to travel to new countries, go to new and exciting places, meet interesting people, and then kill them." So that is an example of a bait and switch. Another one would be life, liberty, and the pursuit of crappiness. Everybody thinks you're going to say happiness, but you take that and you switch it out with crappiness, and then boom, you've got a funny line at the end. Or another bait and switch would be I fight for truth, justice, and the American hey. Whatever. But that's called a bait and switch. How am I doing? I'm doing good, Ghost of these nuts. So I'm just going to do a recap for everybody. Yo, Randy, I am streaming. All right. Good for you. Well, I'm streaming too. So may the best man win. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to do a little recap. Number 1, use interruptions. Number 2, use the 3-sentence rule. Number 3, break the rule number 2. Rule number 4, don't use cliches. Number 5, do flip cliches. Number 6, bait and switch. Oh, we got a call incoming. Let's see. Hello? What's up with you? I'm streaming too, man. Hey, what's up, everybody? Pixel is in here and he says hi. Pixel says, howdy, Randy. And I said, howdy, Pixel. Mercenary Man, Ghost of D's Nuts, a few other people, Dank Meme Time Machine. Yep. The ghost is here. Well, luckily enough, you're not on speakerphone, so he didn't hear that, but yeah. He was joking, he says. All right. But yeah, I'm doing the top 10 dialogue tips. You can come in if you want to. All right, talk to you later. Bye. So that was Spears. He's doing good. So again, rule number 1, use interruptions. Rule number 2, use the 3-sentence rule. Rule number 3, break rule number 2 sometimes. Rule number 4, don't use cliches. Rule number 5, do flip cliches. And number 6, use the bait and switch. And again, just to recap what the bait and switch is, it's where you take a popular saying and then you switch it out at the end, it was Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, Little. Use interruptions literally happen too. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, Pixel, that is part of life. One of the things that really irks me in movies, and I see this all the time, is when a character is dying and they actually have all the time that they need to say exactly what they want to say, and then they die. What would be really realistic is if they said, like, I want to tell you something. I was like, yeah, go ahead. Tell me what you want. It's like, I know. So, like, I think that would be really realistic, and that'd be really funny, and be like, what? What did you want to say? Actually, I think they did that in The Suicide Squad, which was a great movie, and used interruptions. So here we go. Rule number 7, pepper in action. Randy, who do you think writes the best dialogue? Quentin Tarantino, hands down, without a doubt. Second place, David Mamet. The money, it's buried under the... yeah, it dies dramatically. Yeah. Yeah. So now, with this one, you want to pepper in action, because the last thing that you want in your script is a little disease known as talking heads. Okay? And talking heads is where you have 2 people in a room, and this person speaks and that person speaks, and then this person speaks and that person speaks, and then this person speaks and that person speaks, and this person speaks and that person speaks. And this can go on for pages. You don't want to do that. That would be very, very damn bad. You really, really do not want to have pages and pages of just 2 people talking without doing anything. So at the very least, you want a lot more than this, but at the very least, you want them, like, sipping on a drink, smoking a cigarette, maybe eating something, or, playing with a Rubik's Cube and, interacting with the background, like maybe the guy's talking about his DVDs, and over in the corner, the guy's like going through his DVD collection, looking at him, going, "Oh, I didn't know you had a Serenity, the complete series. That's cool." So whatever you do not want to have two people talking nonstop with nothing happening. That is called talking heads, and people hate it in movies. They love it on streams, but you don't want to do that. All right. Number 8, and this is a personal thing of mine, is learn hypnotic language patterns and learn hypnotic persuasion patterns. Because here's the thing. The hypnotic language and persuasive language is designed has an innate characteristic of being compelling, and has an innate characteristic of being interesting. So what you want to do, you want to weave persuasive language throughout your script. And they did do that in Suicide right at the beginning. Haha, he is pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, Tarantino, hands down, definitely. But yeah, you want your characters to be very fluid in their speech, and learning hypnotic language patterns would be an awesome thing for you to do. Sounds like overlapping dialogue too, which when done right can be really good and effective, but it's hardly done at all anymore because it makes editing so much harder. There is an excellent book. I don't remember what it's called, but there is a book, I think it's called The Art of Directing or something like that. And it teaches you how to do. Jon Favreau does that a lot. Jon Favreau has his characters talking at the same time. And it's actually easy if you know what you're doing, but it's not, you can't just do it in the editing room. It's got to be shot that way. And what you do is this. Number 1, you shoot character A saying all their dialogue and exchanging back and forth. Then you shoot character B saying all their dialogue back and forth. And then you shoot both characters at the same time doing the entire dialogue. And when character A and character B are in one shots, you can overlap their dialogue. It's actually, I'll find the book for you. I've got it in my collection somewhere behind me, but I'll look for it, and I'll show you one that this book breaks it down, and it makes it really simple. I think you'll enjoy it. So we're getting close to the end. This is probably going to be like a little 30-minute thing. So I'm only going to go for 30 minutes, and then I'll nip over into Fears' stream. But number 9 is screw grammar. Screw grammar. Just punch grammar in the face. Here's the thing about dialogue and grammar. Number 1, nobody speaks in proper grammar. Even doctors or college professors, they don't speak in proper grammar. Like characters use a lot of fragments. They misuse words. Like Fears misuses words all the time. Like he'll say nip it in the butt. And Fears, it's nip it in the bud, which comes from gardening, which means, if you don't want a weed to pop out, you cut it at the root. You nip it in the bud. It's not nip it in the butt. It's nip it in the bud. And then another Fearsism is, instead of saying specifically, he'll say pacifically, You guys should host the stream here so I could comment. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. We'll see. I got a really cool icon. I photoshopped a really nice icon for this stream. So, and we're going to be in 20 minutes and about 30 seconds. So I'm going to go, I'll do a Q&A portion. But yeah, number 10, don't write stuff that both characters already know. And this is where the majority of unrealistic dialogue in movies comes from. like two characters are sitting together and it's like, yes, Jim, and as you know, my daughter, which I have had for 9 years, just got into high school, even though you helped her out with the like, people don't talk like that. Only have characters relate to other people with things that they don't know, because that is where the bulk of unrealistic dialogue comes from. It's like, yes, we shall go and we shall take our Honda Quadrunners, and I shall take my Honda Quadrunner, and you shall take your Honda Quadrunner, and we shall both take our Honda Quadrunners, and we will go to your cousin's house, which is 3 blocks down the street. Nobody talks like that. I mean, like, if you're joking, if you're cracking wise, yeah, people talk like that. But the bulk of people, when you're talking to somebody, you want to communicate something that they haven't heard before, So Pacifically instead of specifically is one I've seen a few times. I know, right? LOL, no, that just seems like the Lacey product placement. Yeah. And the Ghost, that little dialogue was actually from the movie Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And that was George Clooney saying that line, oddly enough. And what I love about Return of the Killer Tomatoes is the dialogue in that movie is bad. But like Neil Breen, it's bad on purpose. They are meaning to make a B movie. They didn't make a B movie by accident. They purposely made that movie totally crappy, and product placement was one of the running jokes throughout the movie. Like, there's a part where the mad scientist is on the phone and he's walking back and forth, and he walks over to a table and he turns around and he has a giant frickin' Pepsi logo on his back. I thought it was hilarious. I talked like that. I shall take my Honda and you shall take your Honda, and we will go to the local delicatessen and order a sandwich of the Reuben variety. Yeah, right? Yeah. But yeah, and that was the thing that's cool about Return of the Killer Tomatoes. If you're trying to do it on purpose, it works beautifully. Neil Breen isn't bad on purpose. LOL, he is 100% serious. I don't know. Is he? I'm not quite sure. I don't know. I am not quite sure. I don't know. So again, I'm gonna recap the entire list. I'm gonna cap it off real quick. Number 1, use interruptions. Number 2, use the 3-sentence rule. Number 3, break the 3-sentence rule. Number 4, don't use cliches. Number 5, if you do use cliches, flip them. Number 6, use bait and switch. Number 7, pepper in some action. Number 8, learn hypnotic language patterns. Number 9, screw grammar. And number 10, don't write stuff both or all characters already know. So there is basically, in a nutshell, that was my video. So if y'all have any questions for me on dialogue, let her rip. Mercenary Man says suspific. Yeah. Suspific. That's hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, at the 30-minute mark, I'm gonna go over into Fears' little shindig, see what he's got going. Right after I finish, I'm gonna cut it off at the 25-minute mark. It's 24:10 right now. But if you have any questions, get them in there quick. But if not, my name is Randy Brown for Cameo Man 2021 and the Mayor of Magic. And I'm going to be trying to do all my vlogs on my Mayor of Magic site. Some people do talk like that. I had helped someone write a speech the other day for a contest, and it was all like that. Now, again, some people are just bad writers and write like that, but very, 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 very few people talk like that, And I'll give you a few extra tips. Number 1, try to make your characters sound different. because in the beginning of my screenwriting career, and I have sold $300 scripts before. I sold 2 last year. Did you see The Batman? If you did, what's your opinion? The Batman was fantastic. It was a little bit low key. I kind of wish the music would have been more up tempo and quick, and I wish the fight scenes were, Joel Silver has a rule. There has to be a fight scene or a shootout every 10 minutes. And if you look at the movie he produced, The Matrix, it definitely follows that formula. And Matrix 2 and 3 follow the same formula. And those are all good films, And Joel Silver, he was the big man in the 90s and the 2K. He produced all the major action movies. Like in the 90s and the 2K, if it was a big budget action movie that had Arnold Schwarzenegger or Keanu Reeves or Bruce Willis in it, most of the time it was probably Joel Silver that produced it. I love The Batman. It might have been my favorite interpretation ever. It did feel a little bit long at moments. So, well, the movie is 3 hours, but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. I thought it zipped along. I mean, if you would have asked me, I would have said it was a 90-minute movie with how quickly the pacing went and stuff. I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of underwhelmed at the ending. Batman really, I'm not going to say what he did, but he didn't really save the day in the way that he could have. But yeah, so there you go. And again, when you're writing characters, try to make the characters sound different, because here's the thing. When I started out in my writing career, I had 2 characters in my script. I had a cast of 100, but there were basically only 2 characters voice-wise in my entire script. And the 2 characters were the ghetto street gang thug and then the professor doctoral character, And those were the only 2 voices that I knew how to do. Not voices like speaking, but like speech patterns. Like either everybody would be talking like a ghetto street gang thug, like, "Hey, what's going on, man? Let's go on down the street and talk with my homies. Gee, word up. Let's go cap off a few people. Yeah, I'm with my peeps. I'm hanging with my peeps." So that was typically all the characters except the doctoral professor character, who spoke like the frickin' professor off of Gilligan's Island. He's like, "Yes, and this specimen is highly qualitative of the introspective insurrection that we have been talking and discussing today. Today we shall be talking about the expressive functions of the liver and the subcutaneous arteries." So for a long time, those were basically the only 2 characters that were in my script. Like there would be John and Billy and Gary and Larry and Wanda and Peter and Sandra, but all the characters sounded like just those 2 characters. And it took me a long time to get out of that. Took me a long time to be able to write people who actually sounded like a plethora of different people. Took me a long time. Can we also get a roadmap for the channel before you go? I think by roadmap you mean what's going to be going on Candyman 2021 and the Mayor of Magic. I'm going to be trying to put all my magic tutorials on the Mayor of Magic. And I'm going to be trying to put all my live streams on the Mayor of Magic from now. Candyman 2021 will be used mostly for skits, live action, and animated. And that's basically what I'll be trying to do with each of those 2 channels. Again, the live streams will be on the Mayor of Magic. The magic tutorials will be on the Mayor of Magic. And the skits and parodies and cartoons will all be on Candyman 2021. So there you go. And my name is Randy Brown for Candyman 2021 and the Mayor of Magic. And I will see you later. alligator. All right, bye.